Hi, my name's Julian. This is Maxine.
Hi, I'm Maxine Craig. Can you hear? No.
I think you need a.
I've got one, but it doesn't seem to be.
That's for the video.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi. Last year's conference, Mee-Yan, from my perspective, Mee-Yan threw down a challenge to us. She's, as Kate said, she's semi-retiring, and she gave us an amazing presentation about the state of the world and OD. And
Julian, does anyone know who Mee-Yan is?
I don't know. I don't know. She's the what's her role? Somebody help me, because it's a bit.
Oh, she's special advisor to OD.
Special advisor to OD&E. And she seemed to me to be handing us the baton. She said, as she's nearing retirement, what are you lot going to do about the world? Little slide. So, and one of her things was bringing back humanity, and she also said that our most powerful tool was our voice. So, me and Maxine in the last year have been pondering upon this question of, what are we willing to do in service for the people in our communities? So, we'd like to share some of what we've experienced, particularly Maxine, and then we're going to get fired up for the rest of the day.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be with everybody. I'd like to say welcome home, because that's what it feels like to me when I come here. It feels like coming home to a group of people, to a family. It's the 1 week in the year that I completely close down my office because I just want to be with the people in this room. So welcome home, everybody, if you've been before, and welcome to those who are new to working with us. When the theme was decided, Julian asked me, we have been pondering this question about, what's our contribution in the world? And I'm going to run us through a few points that we've been thinking about, really as a provocation, and then we're going to ask you to meet with some different people who you didn't meet with when you did Hello, My Name Is. So the purpose of this session is really to get you to think about OD in our world. Not just OD in our world. And for me, that starts with thinking about the doing of OD and the being of OD. So I say that again. The doing of OD, the stuff we do in our day jobs, and the being of OD, the how we are in our lives. And that seems to me to be something that's really important, that I'd like to ask you to think about as we go through today. And I think for me it's about the being of OD. It's about the values that we have as a community, and the values that serve our clients, this fundamental core belief we have about we're helping people build their own capability and capacity. We're not there to make people feel small and disabled. We're there to make people feel strong and capable. So those values seem to be important. And about supporting our clients to be independent, not dependent on us. One of our foremost values is our work should be creating independence in their capability and capacity. And I suppose the third one I wanted to ask us to think about is that whole notion of we, more than anybody, we as the OD practitioners have to fundamentally believe that we can all learn, grow and renew. Because in this really complicated environment that we work in, if we don't hang on to that fundamental value that we can change in these most difficult of times, then I'm not sure where the hope is. So I think we've got to model that, and that links for me about there's the doing of OD and then the being of OD in our world. So I'll just get the technology. In 2015, I fulfilled a career aspiration. I've always wanted to go to the Global OD Forum, and in 2015 I got to go there. And it fulfilled all my aspirations and everything that I wanted. It was a fantastic opportunity to go over to the States and be with 500 OD practitioners from all around the world. Whilst I was there, I was taken by two things. I was taken by two things. The first is something I hadn't heard us talk about as much in Europe, about how much OD practitioners, particularly in the US, took seriously their responsibility to use their skills in their local communities. So I heard time and time again OD practitioners talking about the work they were doing in their community. This wasn't paid work. This was just the work of their hearts. This was the work that in their communities was desperately needed. And it really struck me, it was a real moment of introspection to me, that I kept quite separately that work that I did in a day-to-day environment in my job, from looking at my community and thinking, how do these skills, this knowledge, this capability that I've got, how do we actually apply that? What is the service I can be of in my local community? So I was really taken with that. And then one of the presentations I went to really, really touched me. It was a presentation undertaken by some colleagues, one of whom was a Ukrainian citizen who was living in the US. And she was an OD practitioner. And she was married to a former CIA agent who was American. And this was just at the time when Russia had began to annex the Crimea. Now, the Crimea is really important to me in my history. I'm a nurse. I'll be a nurse until the day I die. So I'm a nurse. So the Crimea, those of you who work in the health service know, the Crimea has a really important place for nursing history. It's the place that Florence Nightingale went and showed that actually female power and the female contribution and the feminisation of healthcare could be done in the most difficult of circumstances in the battlefields. So the idea of the Crimea spoke to me, but what spoke to me more than anything with these people's contribution was the fact that they didn't wait. This wasn't their job. These people got together and said, the people in the Crimea need us now. They need OD. They need OD practitioners. They need our skills. They need our knowledge. What can we do? And they organised a peace camp. In this most difficult of time, these people took it upon themselves to raise the money through crowdsourcing and took a group of OD practitioners, all in their own time. There was nobody got paid for this work. And they went and they worked between the different factions in the Crimea and in the Ukraine to demonstrate that if you put the skills that we all have, that some of us possibly take for granted, I certainly hadn't thought about this context. And they did a great piece of work. They were leaving, as we were leaving they were asking people to go and work in Palestine with them on a similar intervention. And it really struck me that I didn't think about OD in that way. I didn't think about, in my local community, here's this, my kit bag that I carry around with me that's been hard earned and hard fought for, but I didn't apply it at all. So I came back 2015, fired up with all of that, thinking, right, that's me. I'm out there. If you want to know what I've been doing, if you want to know what Julian's been doing, please ask us. We're not going to bore you with that now. But I came back fired up and said, right, this is me. I know this now. But then we came back to Mee-Yan's challenge. Sorry, let's flick this way. We came back to Mee-Yan's challenge. Sorry. And really this vision of, what are the small fires that we could light? These don't have to be a peace intervention in the Ukraine, in Crimea. But what can we do that's really small in our own communities that desperately need us? Our communities desperately need us now. So what I'd like you to do for 5 minutes, find somebody again that you have not spoken to. I know we've done Hello, My Name Is, in memory of Kate, which is great to see. But find somebody else that you haven't spoken to. Just think about your community and where could the skills of OD practitioners in your community help in a small way. Just 5 minutes, then I'll call time. Great. So, in true OD form, we're not taking any feedback. It's a really big room for creeping death. What I want you to do, it's really nerve-wracking designing a piece for this conference. Really nerve-wracking. I did, and this is no exaggeration, I woke up at 4:30, which my colleagues that know me well know that's early for me, but not too early. And I felt like it was Christmas. You know that moment when you were a child and you think something special might be going to happen? But mixed in with that is just this nervousness that we get this right for you. So what we thought about was we wanted to be or D. We wanted to help you think about what we try and do with our clients. We don't just bombard our clients with data. We try and get them to look at their own emotional experiences and what the work means to them. I don't think there's ever been a time when our skills are more needed. Oh! Julian!
No, I stopped it. It started ringing.
I can't listen to that actually without becoming really emotional now, because I don't think there's a time when our local councils, our local communities need our skills more. And it took me to go to Orlando, into Portland in Oregon, to wake up to that I've got skills that my local community need desperately, but I was sat behind my front door thinking I've done my bit for today and I'm really tired. And I've earned my shift today. So our call to action, one of our provocations for this conference is how can we use our OD skills for the benefit of our communities and our world? This is not just our day job. This is the work of our hearts. So we offer you that as a provocation as we go through today, and thank you for bearing with us. We hope it's done its job.